All right. Thank you for tuning in. Lots of action in the chat there. This is some amazing comments there. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Music all day long. What's up, 10 peeps? How are you doing? Fly Ivy, new track made. Time to join this video and do the mastering for it later on. Yeah, we're gonna dig in. Obviously, mastering plugin has AI in it. It'll, we'll dig into that, and it's gonna be exciting. I'll pay 3.003 cents more than Spotify to hear it. Nice. That's a great deal. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. We have some exciting tools to get into. I dug in a bit. I've been using like tools like Spleeter and stuff for a bit, where you can kind of just download it to your computer. But like, it's getting really crazy out there. The quality of these tools just keeps getting better. The voice emulation. I think I created a clone of myself at one point for video just to test it out. I think I could have made it a bit better, but it was pretty freaky. I sent it to some family members, and they loved it. So, but yeah, let me know where you're tuning in from. From Brazil. That's amazing. Today I learned about 8D songs. Check them out on YouTube. The demo is very trippy and cool. Nice, yeah. It's yeah. So we're gonna dig into stem separation. I did something kind of funny that I'll get into. Where you can just take a song, you've heard it. FL Studio just released it in their DAW, and it's really cool, especially if you're working on like your production and you're arranging, and you have some of your favorite artists that you love, and you want to separate the stems to see what they're doing, sonically in the different parts. It's really, really, it's really, really interesting. And then the voice emulation. We'll get into MIDI generation and like creative tools like that in the DAW. I found some really nice ones that I'll get into. And of course, you have the mastering plugin. There's going to be, in the future, mixing plugins. I think the barriers to getting a professional sound are going to continue to drop and drop. But yeah, for today, we have an exciting guest, Jonny Goode from Real Home Studio with us. So I'll bring him on now. He's all about this too. And here you are, Jonny. How's it going?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. I was enjoying listening to what you've been up to there. I'm really curious to hear about how you cloned yourself.
You've seen those TikTok ads. I'm sure the HeyGen.ai or HeyGen it's called,
right?
Where it can just like deep fake any language. That's just insane. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. And the other thing you said was really interesting. Is reminded me a few months back. I was making a video about Britney Spears vocals. I'm just really into that. I forget the name of the producer that did the Britney Spears stuff. He did a lot of other like NSYNC stuff, all that stuff around that time. And you could get the isolated Britney Spears vocal, and it was like all the harmonics and the octaves down and all the processing. And like you're saying, like that was like, oh wow, that was so like bang, amazing.
Yeah, I have to do this, especially if you're learning like how to produce a new genre of music. You can just stem it out and then be like, okay, what are they doing in the bass? What are they doing in the drums? And then like you can take stuff away from that or try to replicate it and make it your own. That's the best way to learn, is just to recreate stuff like that. And now that you have that, it's really, I think the hardest part for me, like starting out, was like trying to hear the low end and say, okay, what are they doing in the low end? And then it's kind of, it's very muddy, but you want to hear what the frequencies are down there. And like, now you can just stem it out and have a better idea of what's happening. So it's a really great tool to learn. We have Fly Ivy from Winnipeg, Canada. Nice. It's been a while since I've been out there. I'm in Montreal. Where are you streaming from, Jonny?
So I'm in the north of England, in the wonderful Yorkshire.
Nice.
Yeah,
I haven't been to England yet. It's on my list. Not? No. I've been to like Mediterranean countries. Like I was on cruise ships in the Mediterranean there. So I did all the nice like subtropical countries. Like
yeah, that's not Yorkshire.
No. But I would love to make it out there one day. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lovely part of the world. I did my younger years in London as a musician, but now with my family, we live up in Yorkshire. So there's no finer place to be.
Nice. Yeah, Music All Day Long said, I took a Portuguese video and made the guy speak in English from a video with HeyGen. Yeah, it's insane. So yeah, you need to like film yourself for a specific amount of time and not do too many hand movements. I made the mistake of going like this. and so it would do gestures at the wrong times, which is kind of funny. But like you could tell it was a bit off. But I think if you do if you follow the guidelines really carefully and you train it well, it's pretty creepy how good it is. So it's only going to get better from here. Like think of Pong or Atari when it first came out, right? That wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
That was like 80 something, right? 70, late 70s, early 80s. That's kind of like I was born in 87, so that's not, it's not crazy. So it's going to get weird, but we're here now. We're going to discuss where we're at so far. But what tool stuck out to you the most, Jonny, like from your investigation so far?
Well, I mean, I've been playing with most recently with Lalal's voice changer. I mean, it's been around for a while, but it's Lalal's has been up. I can't quite work out whether that's the same company or not. It's Lalal.ai that does the separation stuff. I mean, and Lalal's that does the voice changing stuff. They're two separate sites, but I'm imagining they're the same guys, right?
I was wondering the same thing, and I have no idea.
I don't know either. It's kind of, it seems a strange strategy to put it in two different places, but hey, whatever. But I was playing with the voice changing side of it, but of course, Lalals.ai has been in the press a lot with the Beatles thing, but we can come to that in a bit. But I've been playing with the voice changer because I had a project where it was for a short sort of online commercial to change the voice to a Bublé voice, Michael Bublé voice. And so I was using my voice for that. And I was kind of curious as to, can I just throw my vocal in here and get an instant Bublé result? So that's what I did at first. Threw it in, and I was kind of like, oh, this is going to take a bit more work, actually. So I ended up doing it line by line to get a good result, and actually took quite a long time. It reminded me a little bit, really, of working with vocal tuning back in the days, where actually it was like, okay, I'm going to have to really take my time to kind of to make this work. It's not just throwing at it just yet. Anyway, I mean, who knows what's going to be like in 6 months, but it really, I was surprised how much I had to get vocally into the character to actually get a really good result. And looking, if you look like there's some really cool like Nirvana Unplugged, like Kurt Cobain AI stuff using, I think, this or something similar. And you can see in the comments people going, wow, this is the best Kurt Cobain yet. And it seems like there's this subgenre of people that are just trying to get as close as they can. The skill is to use the software to get as close as they can to make it sound realistic. So
interesting. Yeah. So they're like having contests around who can get the closest?
I would say certainly in terms of getting, YouTube attention. Absolutely. There's another skill there,
Yeah, exactly. And like we were speaking earlier about the Beatles making a comeback and like cloning their voices. And then I mentioned, that's not fair. That's not fair to like artists of today, like having to compete with the Beatles again. But there are good things and bad things, I guess, about that. But in the chat, let us know what you've been playing around with. If there's anything like you found that really interesting, we'll dig into it. I've got a few things pulled up here. I actually I looked for the worst vocal ever, and I chucked it through a couple of these things. It didn't do much, and I'll show you in a sec. But it was interesting to hear the timbre changes. But yeah, you can't polish a turd, is what they say. But it's interesting. But I don't know. Do you want to dig in a little bit here, and we'll see what we can come up with? Oh, Jonny, did we lose you?
No, I'm back in. Sorry, yeah, I just glitched out for a moment there.
Oh, no worries. Have you heard the Eric Cartman AI cover on Evanescence, Bring Me to Life? Weirdly very good. Yeah, stuff's going to get weird. I'm just waiting until I can like select my actor on any show or movie. So I'm just going to put Arnold for every movie. And I'm going to be very entertained, There's
so many. That's the thing. I signed up to Lalal's and then I was like, okay, I'll do the job. That's the job I'm here to do. And then it was like, oh, look, there's all the Family Guy characters and the Simpsons. It's like, oh, I could waste weeks. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's insane, and I feel like I haven't even touched the surface of this stuff. I feel like that's a cool thing that you did, using the Buble emulator to kind of like, was it for a sync licensing kind of spot that they were looking for a crooner kind of thing?
It was it's for an animal charity video where it was a Christmas song down to 30 seconds. It was a Buble, like I can't remember, it was like Merry Christmas to you, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But it was also altering it so it's personalized. So it's something that would have been very, very high ticket back in the day. And now it's something that's actually relatively accessible to do and will increasingly be accessible for most people,
Well, it's just like mastering too. Like when LANDR came out, mastering was a thing that only certain people did, and some certain people didn't do very well, but still charged quite a bit for it. And I mean, we'll get into that a bit later. But the first thing I wanted to cover was, I'm going to switch cams here. So I have a session and I have a few things open, but the thing that I found that I thought was really cool was this Muse Spark plugin. And I'll just bring it up here. So this is a text to chords AI. So you can type in whatever you want and it'll generate chords for you at every step of the chromatic scale that work together. So have you seen this, Jonny?
I can't see it right now on the screen if I meant to be, but
Here, let me just dig into that. But yeah, keep going.
I haven't heard of it. It sounds really interesting. I mean, I'm still a bit blown away by using some like.
There we go. Can you see that?
Yeah, guitar plugins. As a guitarist by background, I'm always like, oh, these guitar has always been the hard thing to emulate. So the more I hear guitar stuff, I'm like, okay, that's really good now.
Yeah, guitar and like, good cello library, like stuff that's close to the human voice is really hard to emulate. But now,
they're getting there.
Yeah. So people in the chat, give us some prompts and I'll chuck one in here to get chords. So let's just you can see this. It says, make these chords more complex, simple. Give me different chords. So you can use a new prompt and then you can alter it by asking for different things. So let me see if I can start a new session here. So give it to me, chat. Give me some stuff I can type in here. Could be like, give me house chords in the style of, I don't know. Or give me like gypsy chords in the style of Django Reinhardt, gypsy jazz chords. Sad, emotional. We're getting there. Why don't you ask for the famous chords that every hit song's used? That's not bad. Okay, let me see a few more. Crying on the dance floor. I like that. Like sad, emotional chords that will make you cry on the dance floor. What do you think? Should I go with that?
Sounds good.
All right. So let's see if I can. Sad.
It sounds like every song I've ever written.
Okay. I'm going to hit generate and I have, I think, 15 prompts left. So I really did enjoy using this though, because like you don't even need, you just do whatever, you just route the MIDI from the plugin into a track with the VST on it. So it's like a plugin, but you have to route the MIDI after the fact. It does take a little bit to generate the chords, but we'll just wait and talk about it. Funky chords that sound like Prince. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can modify these ones if they're too sad.
Throw a bit Prince in.
Yeah. And then while we're waiting, I'll just here we go. Okay, so I have to route this to a new track. So what I'm going to do is route it to here. And I have like this UAD synth that I grabbed yesterday, which I was playing around with. It's called the morphing synth. Really cool. Look at this. Looks like a spaceship. But okay. Ooh. See, I don't know if like these are emotional chords to cry on the dance floor, but
that sounded more Prince.
yeah. So maybe and what I like is like I can just like type in rhythms here. But the way I was using it was like I could just where is it? Oh no, it's gonna be here. And then it's routing the MIDI from here to here, right? So like, is this working? Let's see if I can. No, it's gonna be here. Really wanted to use this MIDI controller. Where is it? Do I need that on too? Let's see here. Okay, whatever. So I could just like come up with a catchy rhythm. Oh, these are good. Actually, let me read this. Hey, he famous for chords used in many pop songs progressions that are in the. Yeah, we could get really specific with it. I don't know what it's gonna give us, but like the reason why I like this is because you can get really creative with just like. Let me mute that because I don't want to give that part away. That was funny. You got to stick around for that. That's the funny part of the show. I think it's because. So like I could hear it like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Johnny.
I said this is sounding more and more Prince by the minute.
Yeah, I love the funky stuff. Like I think that's going to be my next project. Like I always kind of like. I went too atmospheric and too epic, I think, but like now I want to do like dun 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 dun. So dun dun dun. Let me see here if I can dun 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 dun, and then dun 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 dun. And then we can go like. Like that's sick. Like I love those chords. And then I don't want to like I feel bad that we can't collaborate here on this. Like, but you could give me some direction if you want. I'm not going to spend too much time here, but I am very inspired, so I might get stuck. Yeah. That's so sick. Like I'm not gonna right? And then you can kind of use your ear, like what would be the next. I don't know if that works, but like and then I could do like a turnaround thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, you get the point. And then what I was doing is like the thing that with this plugin is that it doesn't really, sometimes it doesn't play the MIDI in time. So I was recording the MIDI onto a new track and then quantizing it. And then, but yeah, I mean, like a big pain point with a lot of people is just getting the right chords. And like, if you can just type in, I want Britney Spears chords. And then you just use the Britney Spears.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. Did you have any notes on this one? Have you heard of this one? This is by Muse. It's called Muse Spark.
It was sorry, you just froze there a little bit, but it's cool. I think it's because we've got the two things going. But it's interesting just watching you using it. It reminded me of I worked a lot with stock music for quite a long time, and that's another AI conversation,
right?
But, I was just watching that thinking, oh, that would have been really handy making stock music, because a lot of the time it's just coming up with 4 chord progressions. And anyone who's written songs knows that if you, whatever instrument you go to, your hands just go to C, A minor, F, G, or find your muscle memory goes there. So to come up with new, even 4 chord progressions is really, really helpful.
Yeah, or just something to get started with, you know, like I don't need to stick to those chords. I can print them and then like modify them. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's great. It goes straight into MIDI. That's just lovely, isn't it? You know, that's
insane. And then I think like I can with that rhythm I can change the so let's see, these are my last prompts. So like if I go here, the chords will change, I think. Not, I don't like them as much because I wrote that kind of thing with this prompt in mind. So like,
Yeah.
that's so sick. I love that. But yeah, give me house chords that feel sad. Oh. I don't know what happened there, but yeah. Let's hear like music all day longs. Let me know what you're confused about. And I'll try to address it. Yeah, that's what I started as well. Just make a ton of notes, then edit them after, create rhythm. Yeah, it's all about the rhythm. Like, if you're ever blocked on anything, just remember that people are listening to the groove, and then the melody. So just get a good groove going. Let's modify these. So like in that same prompt, sad emotional chords that make you cry on the dance floor. We had a good like. Why don't you ask for famous chords that? Okay, so maybe I can say like, modify them to the most famous chords that make every song a hit. Does that make sense? Is that English? Nice. So it'll generate those, and then after this, I got something exciting that I'm going to chuck on top of that, and hopefully it won't crash my Mac. But yeah, any thoughts on this while we're generating here? Oh, sorry, I had that. I didn't have the cam up on there, but like, yeah. So I typed that in. It's generating. I guess when I switch over to the thing, it stops sharing for some reason. So I'll just go like that. There you go. Okay. Cool. Let's hear what happened.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah, I don't know. Is this okay? So it basically took the chords from "Stand by Me," which is just the diatonic triads.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't know if I can reset that. Yeah, I won't use that. Like, that's kind of funny that it did that. And now I'm wondering where it gets this information from, because I was thinking about that on the way to work today. Like, it must be grabbing it from a repository of chords that align with different songs and artists and genres and stuff like that. And I was thinking of that website where it has all of that. And I'm like, does that website have an API that you can just plug into a chat prompt and then kind of use a GPT thing to kind of take that data set and then grab stuff from it? Like, is that how it works?
Well, with the stock music thing that I was talking about less than a year ago, anyone that was involved with stock music, so that was like for me, like with Pond 5, Audio Jungle, all the big players that you would then sell in that marketplace were invited whether they would be happy to submit their portfolio to go into the big cauldron of AI stock music engine,
right. Yeah.
Which presumably at some point in another is going to materialize itself as, you want to buy some sad stock music to do with, I don't know, toilet paper and XXX, and then it'll generate it for you for $7.99. I imagine that's where we're going with that.
Yeah, and I wanted to get into like the music gen side of things. So like that's a whole other thing where it's not in the DAW. It's more like, we're gonna generate music for you. You pick the style, and then it just generates. And like there was one that we'll get into, and I can't remember what it's called right now, but you can actually change the track based on energy levels. So it gives people with less of a musical inclination or education on how to like, oh, I want this to sound high energy and then this part to sound low, so they can kind of create their own flow. And I think that's cool. It's giving them access to doing something they may not have been able to do, which is happening at every level of every skill right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just the way things are going. I hit this strum button. I just wanted to see what happens. Right on. Okay. Yeah, so Music All Day Long says, just used to seeing chords in MIDI. But I was just moving around blocks. Yep. So just to explain this again for you, these notes in the piano roll, they're actually triggering the chords in this plugin. So each note here is a chord. And I'm sending that MIDI to an instrument. So I can actually print this MIDI if I wanted to. I could just go here and press record. And then you see the MIDI there. Those are the actual chords that it's playing. And that's it. And so you can go in there and, like, let's say I don't like that last chord. I wanted to, like, maybe bring this down an octave, like, and this one, because, like, the voice leading is kind of trash. And then I could, like, quantize these. So this is kind of outside that plugin. You can see they were a bit out of time, which is cool. But yeah, next thing I wanted to get into, I should have wrote these plugins down, but there was a plugin. Just one sec, let me find it. This plugin, what it does is it downloads AI models and applies them to the sound, so it generates like another sound on top of it. So I was using it to put this one, Newton. Hopefully my computer doesn't die. I'm just gonna delete the Muse Spark for now, just in case. So we have the chords from Muse Spark. They're going into this thing. And now I'm gonna put chanting monks on this synth.
Beautiful.
I don't know if you've seen this. I don't think this is really well known, but, like, basically it'll take the sound and then it'll use that sound to trigger an AI model. So, like, glass harp sound. So I'll just download this. While that's downloading, I wonder if I can put the monks on. It's like words that come out of your mouth that you thought never would, you know? Like, I'm going to put monks on this sound. Like, no. Why? But yeah, it's cool. Cool for sound design. I think a lot of these work better on longer sounds, but that monk one really worked for this. Just one second. If you see it, let me know. Marimba field recordings of bird songs. Like, that sounds cool. I'm going to grab that. Yeah, so this is called New Tone. Choir sounds. Bulgarian female choir. Okay, let's try this one first.
There's nothing that could go wrong here.
That's so sick.
That's impressive.
Like, you know, print that, chuck some effects on it, you have a whole new sound. Like, it's really all about arrangement and, like, you know, it gets to a point where, and then you can blend them in, obviously. It gets to a point where it doesn't even matter. See, didn't like me doing that. But yeah, there we go. That's awesome. Like, that's so cool. It adds, like, a whole other texture to that synth sound.
Yeah, that's very cool.
I might have to print that. I have to save the session.
What was this called?
This is called Newton. Okay. I can't remember the company. QOSMO. Cos. That's so sick. I'm going to save that. Yeah, this is great. Let's try a different one. Where's that? I want the Buddhist. There we go. Buddhist chants. Oh, and there goes the da. Oh, yeah.
It's so intelligent. It tells you when you need to stop.
Yeah, I might need, like, it probably only works with the M1 Max, you know.
Buddhist chants. Nope.
No. Yeah. I'm going to try to recover the session. On that note, so yeah, a lot of the stuff is brand new. It's experimental. Yeah, it's not, it did this before and I was worried about it, and this is exactly what's happening right now. So what we'll have to do then is open another session. So I just lost all of that awesome work that I was going to use to create the best song ever. And, you know, that's, you know, I'm just going to let that one go and, you know, live with the pain.
The universe has spoken.
Yeah. You shouldn't be using that on those chords.
That's right. You've disrespected the Buddhists.
Yeah. It's like I disrespected the flow of the earth. It's cool. So let's get into the more generative stuff. So let me just pull that up here. And I had it written down here. I'm just going to grab that. But if you had any too in the chat that you've been looking at, let me know. I'm just going to find this here. It was like called Sound Raw, I think. Yeah. Okay. Try it for free. So this is the one I was talking about where you just generate whatever you want. And I'll just pull this up in a sec. Just give me a moment. And then I'm going to share this. Yeah, every time I switch this, I have to share with you the screen. So just give me a sec. Cool. There we go. So if you're new to music and you want to generate like a track specifically, this is really cool. Like, but I... part of me doesn't believe it, you know, like I'm just like, what? Like this is it's too easy. Okay, so in the chat, take a look at these genres and give me pick one for me. You know, if you choose Christmas, I won't be you know, I won't judge you. But yeah, let's just wait and see what people say. So we've got, oh, you can't see them because the camera is there. So pick one of these genres. We got world, electronica, orchestra, tropical house, Afrobeats, Christmas, pop, lo-fi, hip-hop, Tokyo night pop. That's a new one for me. I don't even know what that is. Techno and trance, house, funk, acoustic, rock, ambient beats, drum and bass, electro and dance, Latin, Jersey club. Yeah, let me know. I'm still waiting for someone to give me a genre, but maybe the chat's a bit delayed, so I'll just wait a few more moments.
If it doesn't happen, you've got the ever impending guillotine of Christmas coming from me.
Yeah, I might go Christmas if no one's going to go against that. Tokyo night pop, change your life. Believe it or not, rock in there. Best I've used a bunch. Okay. Hip hop. All right, we got a few. So maybe we'll do Christmas. And you know what? I'm going to go Tokyo night.
Yeah, why not?
Because that's like, I don't even know what that is. So
not a clue.
Cool. And it says creating music. And there's a guy Neo down there. Okay. And then we have 15 tracks. Like I don't know if I believe that. I just, what? 15 tracks? And they're all 3 minutes? Like that would have taken me like a year to make. Okay.
So just so I understand, so what's happened at this point? Have these been created?
Well, that's what I want to know.
Or are they just there?
I would love to know that. You know what? Let's listen to a few of them.
Okay.
And then I'll refresh the page and see if they're different. Yeah.
Great.
Can you can hear that?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what I was talking about. You can change the energy level of each section. So it's like changing every 4 bars or so.
Sure.
So low. And there's a pro mode too, which is you can change the tempo and structure and everything. Like that's so good.
Yeah.
Like why should I even make music anymore? This is depressing.
This is what I was talking about, the stock music.
Yeah.
Because the client can now customize it around their video. It makes more sense.
Yeah. So like let's say I wanted that medium, high, very high. It's gonna be a banger, guys. Very high all the way through.
All high.
Does it just play the same loops though? It's like it must, right? Yeah, it's the same. Where we really start getting into trouble is when this starts to change those sections. Yeah, I can't wrap my mind around it. Okay, let's refresh, see if that number 1's the same.
Yeah, that's what's interesting.
Pricing is high with them. Yeah, I could imagine like
really,
you can just print stuff and send it to people to charge them for it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, it sounds a bit similar, but that's the genre, right?
Yeah. Stock music will, you know? A lot of it's really similar.
Okay, let's go down. Ooh. Wave Race. It sounds like N64 music.
So what's like the licensing crack with these? Do you like sign up and pay, and then you have a license royalty free that you can use bespoke on your project without getting flagged anywhere?
I guess
Is that,
so, yeah.
yeah,
You own the license
that's the big
forever.
kicker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even if you cancel your subscription.
because that piece of music you've generated is one piece original. That's the big thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
30 downloads per month. Buck a
So that's
track,
like,
I guess, like if you use all the credits.
and you're free of content ID and all those things that people are concerned about on YouTube. And yeah,
You know what? I'm just going to start my own Tokyo Pop artist.
yeah.
Using
I'll join your band.
Yeah, we'll do. You choose a singer. I'll choose a singer on one of the AI things, and then we'll just grab these tracks and sing over them.
Beautiful.
It's a plan. That's what music's come to.
That's where we got to.
Yeah.
Well,
So I mean, once you can download the stems, I think for this would be really interesting. Like it's rough because like if you take a top track, that's out there, and compare it to this, there's still a difference there, right? So, but it's gonna get to the point where there's not gonna be a difference, and so I'm kind of freaking out. Cool. That's that. Let's check out the Christmas because I'm curious.
Let's get serious now.
Yeah.
Stop messing around.
Christmas is one of those holidays too. It's like everyone's looking for Christmas music around right now, actually. So I think that's why they have it rainbow, or is that just a selector? I don't know. Okay. Okay. It's still loading. Monetize with YouTube, but you cannot register or copyright claim the music generated by SoundDraw. Essentially, your content will be monetized with SoundDraw, but not in the tracks itself. I see.
Wow.
I like the 808s. Why is this like a hip hop Christmas track? I want like There we go. There we go. There it is.
It's a bit sketchy stuff for Christmas, though.
I mean, we could do like we could put our own AI voices on here. Like, let's try it. So, 3, 4. Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. Merry,
We all enjoyed it.
Merry Christmas. I think we're gonna make a ton of money, man.
Yeah.
Nice. So that's cool. I mean, any notes on this one? I guess. Like, what do you? We got into it. I'm still not sure about that, but
I'd like to immediately chip in on saying one of the immediate shticks for musicians was, you can make AI music, but it has no soul. I think you've 100% reinforced that with your demonstration of Christmas music there.
Yeah. The only thing that had soul was my amazing melody there.
Absolutely.
Which if I can sell that.
Oh no, it wasn't the singing; it was the music. It was the soulless AI Christmas music.
Yeah.
So
that's
interesting.
Yeah, let's move on. Let me just pull up the. We'll get into the vocal gen stuff. So there's the La La's. Let me just. I should have bookmarked this beforehand. I'm not smart. Oh yeah, kits.ai. So. Oh, I was on my other account. Just give me a moment. Why don't you actually? You know what? This is a good segue. We can talk about your course coming up with LANDR. Can you sure. Explain like? Basically, Jonny has this amazing mixing course that kind of takes you from the beginning to the end of mixing, especially with like a channel strip plugins and how that can benefit your mixes. Do you want to give us a rundown of that? Because
it's kind of the antithesis of what we've just been talking about. Really.
Okay, yeah, this is perfect then.
So it's more about almost like coming back to a work ethic of the 60s and the 70s, which is what kind of actually set me free working in the digital domain. I mean, I'm old enough that I started cutting tape when I first started learning. I've gone through so many different technological revolutions, and I got to about the point of having 16-track digital. That was an old Fostex VF 160, and then I made and it was a really reluctant change into DAWs. And I found then there was a sort of a grey period where I felt like I just had to conform to working in a digital domain, using a lot of stock plugins. Nothing wrong with stock plugins, but I found that it affected my workflow. And actually, it wasn't until I got back to working how I used to work, really fundamentally, like 80% of it on a channel strip quite quickly. Faders, pan knobs, EQ compression, simple EQ, simple compression, that I got back to working in my DAW and getting way better results, and realized I'd gone so far back, but now I could go so far forward in the DAW. So that's what this course was all about. Really wanted to share my experience, that certainly for people younger than me that might not have had that experience of getting into those studios or having that learning curve, that actually that way of working is good. It fits with the human mind. It's just a lot more peaceful way to work. It's a much more musical way to work, and it's a much nicer way for a lot of musicians. If you haven't got a massively technological background or mind, I certainly don't. I find a lot of stuff in. I just look at an EQ from a stock linear EQ and just go, give me one with 7 notches on it, and I'll tell you what one I like the best or what fits in the mix.
Yeah, that's
So
interesting. Yeah. And
that's the angle of the whole thing.
That's cool. I'm going to check it out for sure. Because I just got that API channel strip plugin.
Right.
And I get still a little bit intimidated with channel strips because you have so much there, but you have so little, because you have like the EQ and the compressor all in one kind of thing.
Sure. And you can take it, but you can take it once you sort of, I was liking the channel strip to me learning the guitar or the piano or any other instrument. Is like learn one plugin or one channel strip if it would be in front of you. That's what the pros used to do. They'd master that like an instrument.
Yeah. And there's some cool videos on YouTube of people mixing live on channel strips, and it's really like a whole instrument. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. So it's really just it's simplifying the process, but also it encourages ear training. To me, as a musician first, before somebody, that I didn't wake up at 14 and think, wow, I want to get really technical and learn all these technical things. That's not who I am. I'm a musician. I wanted to just learn to be honest, I wanted to play like Slash when I was 14. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So it's been it's a journey of learning to use it as a musical instrument, and the success I've had has been from simplifying down. That's where the best mixes have come. My happiest clients have been, and my success working from my studio has been, is simplifying it down and giving myself just choices. Does this sound better than that? Yes, it does.
Right, yeah.
That's fine. Rather than just these crazy increments of decisions, which there's so many decisions we have to make. So that's what Channel Strip 101's all about. It's essentially EQ and compression and some ear training to sort of understand where around things need to be. And included in this course is a whole cheat sheet book. So there's cheat sheets on kick drum, snare drum, overheads, guitar, bass, vocals. So you can take the whole book down on your desktop, print it off, and just find stuff quickly. I still use the booklet that I created sometimes. I'm like, what do I need to do? It's really handy to have that there. So
yeah, that's amazing.
It's just to simplify things down and get results and enjoy the process rather than be stressed out. That's it.
Cool. I'm going to check it out. So for those that don't know, this course, Channel Strip 101, is available on Jonny's site at realhomestudio.com. But we'll also have it, I'm hoping, by the end of this week at learn.lander.com. So if you have a Lander Studio subscription, you'll have access to it. And if you don't have a Lander Studio subscription, it's $99. We have that Black Friday deal running. So you get pretty much almost everything, except for the mastering plugin, which is only in the Studio Pro subscription, but you get all the plugins, you have all the samples, you have the online mastering. And we'll get into the mastering plugin in a bit. And yeah, good timing, because my buddy Kevin, careful not to bring out about the singularity. Yeah. I mean, we're headed towards it. I'm not, I'm convinced that it's information will fold in on itself. But we're still going through time, so that's good. But yeah, I wanted to bring up one of his tracks actually, and we can showcase the mastering plugin. So I've been mixing Kevin's album. His artist is Strict Month, and he's doing all the stuff himself, and I'm helping him with the mixes, and it's actually helping me get better at mixing, because like it's nice to mix someone else's stuff and not my own, because like when you mix your own stuff, the line between production and mixing tends to blur a little bit. So, even though I'm printing my tracks and not going back, maybe I will. So it's nice to learn. But I'm gonna definitely check out that course, because I want to start using more of the channel strips, and like maybe have a different way of thinking and hearing. So can I
just chip one more thing in that?
Yeah.
It is on a Black Friday deal at the moment for
nice.
7 more days. It's $49. So
sweet. Yeah. So if you don't have LANDR Studio or don't plan on getting it and just want the course, it's only $49.
Yep. There you go. Just for 7 days, though. That's the best deal I've ever done. It won't be that price for a long time. So
sweet. Yeah, that's Real Home Studio. I'll put the link in the description as well.
Cheers, bud.
But yeah, let's get back into this. So the next thing I want to do was the vocal generation. And someone said unmixing, Patrick M. And Fly Ivy says, I'm currently uploading to a new version of my DAW, which has everything. Cubase, though. Yeah, I heard the new Cubase is crazy. Lots of new stuff is included, but I'm still with LANDR. I'm glad to hear it. Thanks for the support. Yeah, I got to check out Cubase. I was on Cubase 7 is what I started with, and then Cubase 9 came out, and I didn't want to pay for the upgrade, so I switched to Reaper. And doing Ableton Reaper nowadays. What are you on, Johnny? What DAW do you have?
Studio One.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yes, your course is a Studio One course. It's in Studio One. I mean, the principles are universal, but yeah, it's great to. Yeah, I've heard great things about that one as well. Cool. Right. So let's dig right back in. So I'm gonna switch back to the web here. I wanted to use Lal, but you have to pay for it, and I don't have a reason to pay for it just yet. But maybe soon. But this one had some free features as well. So let me just share this with you. And I'm going to check the unmixing thing, because I don't know what that means. Is that like taking away stuff? So AI vocals for the modern creator. Log in. Cool. So what I did was I looked for the worst voice ever, and chucked it through a bunch of stuff. But let's listen to some of the examples. So.
My feathers are only fleeting, let them fall, don't hide your flesh and blood. My feathers.
Do you lose knowledge or lose pain? Choose doubt.
Okay. Yeah, it's got some it has some cool options in here. And let's see if the stuff that I did upload is in here. No. Is it? No. Convert. It's got to be under the convert thing. I did upload stuff earlier, but I don't know where that thing is. Let's see. My voices, train a voice. I didn't train. I just converted stuff. But let's just listen to some of the samples, and then maybe we'll try to do our own thing. Yeah, the second voice was solid. I think if you sing it well, I'm not a fan of my voice, but I have a good sense of pitch. But my pitch is still not great. I've taken singing lessons, and I'm a bit insecure with my voice. Not insecure enough to do like a Christmas melody. But
I was gonna say,
yeah. I'm trying to embrace it. And sing a lot more. So let's listen to some of these.
It's still Dre Day, AJ. Though I've grown a lot, can't keep it home a lot. Cause when I frequent the spots that I'm known to rock.
Like that would be good for me, because I can't pull out a rap tone, but I could definitely, I feel like I have good rhythm. I have good flow, but I probably just sound like, a white dude.
Yeah, I've been there.
Especially if you have an accent. Yeah, maybe it would work. Okay, let's listen to this one.
And I was thinking to myself, this could be heaven or this could be hell.
I love that song. Okay, that's pretty sweet. Female jazz vocalist.
Oh, how I feel so real, lying here with no one near, only you.
Yeah, it's really cool. So let's see what we can do. Oh, a narrator. Oh, an Ed Sheeran. Okay. Oh, here's my stuff. So here's the worst vocals ever. Yeah, I'm gonna play the before we do that. So let me just get into this 1 second. AI vocals. Okay. Vocals. Is it just this?
Well, this next and final song.
This is the
gonna be
worst
one that has
singer
made me
ever,
pretty famous
apparently.
Over the last few
So-
years, it has took me millions. Never say goodbye. There will meet our Savior, and our loved ones too.
It's strong, isn't it?
Yeah, and I used one of the AI stem separators because there's a piano accompaniment,
Okay.
you know, which you think would help, but it doesn't. And I just wanted the vocals. So like, let's
Let's see what I can do.
yeah. I'm just watching the viewers drop off right now. No, just joking. No, thanks for sticking around, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah. See ya. So I pitched this one. You can pitch down in this when you upload the sample, and then you can apply the processing, which is really cool. Because like if I pitch it down in the DAW, then applied it, you get some textural changes that maybe I didn't want. So
Walk in my city, bound on out to die. Well, the setting mid-
it's not a good melody, you know, overall. But
East London. All right. How you doing?
oh, you know what? Can I? Did I save this? I think this is the one that crashed my DAW. I think. Remember that? And I had it processed ready for this, and now I think okay, good, it works. Okay, sweet. So I applied some repitch elements and just kind of cleaned it up a bit because it's still a bit pitchy. And I was thinking like maybe I could pitch it before going in or after. So let's just listen to it now.
Walk in my city, bound on out to die. Well, the setting millions. Never say goodbye.
Okay, so the whole point of this is that it got marginally better, right? Not
so.
musically, I don't think the melody was great, but I was trying to look for like, okay, what can I use that's royalty free that I could chuck in and change the texture? But what we could do maybe is go to LANDR samples and we'll look for a sound. You guys can help me in the chat pick out a sound, and we will check it through and choose a different voice with maybe some better vocals, I think. So what I would like you to do is give me a genre, type in a genre in the chat there, and I will I'll chuck it in here.
I think most will agree. I don't think that sounded convincingly like Ed Sheeran, did it?
It had the
Do you think?
raspiness maybe.
Yeah. It sounded very like sort of Mary Poppins chimney sweep to me.
I think that was the melody though. I think
Do you think? Oh, okay. Yeah.
the guy's voice, the original track is very crazy.
Do you think that goes back to what I was saying then about the sort of Michael Bublé? When I first put my vocal, I was just singing a Christmas song, and it didn't really. I was like, okay, not sure like 20 quid a month's gonna really be worth this.
Right.
But then as soon as I started working at creating a Bublé vocal, then it was like, oh, this is coming together very nicely now.
Yeah, you sing into the model. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Fair point. Yeah.
I'll have to, I'm gonna do a deeper dive on that and see.
Everybody's like, nah, I'm sorry.
We need something that's not overly processed though. Maybe.
Tell me what you do, 'cause I'm falling. I think that you have
That's not bad. Let's do that. It's got a little bit of verb on it. I think that's fine. Okay. AI vocals. Nice. All right. Let's upload it.
Tell me what you do, 'cause I'm falling.
Okay, so this is going from like a woman voice to a Ed Sheeran. bright pop voice. And this is cool. You get like 15 minutes of processing time, which is kind of generous, I think. Like, but yeah, it's interesting. I'm gonna try I'm gonna try to sing. I think that's my next move. Just kind of like sing. I have the setup at home. I have the nice plugins. I have the mic. I have the SM7.
Yeah.
I just need to, let's see what it did.
Tell me what you think is unfolding.
Wow.
I think that you have magic like a wizard, or you got something. I think that you have magic like a. Tell me what you think is unfolding.
That's insane. What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
I think it's very similar to the results that I got on the Laos.
Yeah.
And what I would say is it had an immediate wow factor.
Yes.
But then when I did start to work with it, I could start to hear artifacts and bits and pieces. I was like, oh,
yeah.
that's a weird thing.
I've had discussions with people about getting around that, and there are plugins that you can use to kind of like, take it the next step further. But yeah, I mean, it went from male to female.
Oh, it's
female to male.
Yeah, it's incredible. It is incredible. It's kind
of want to try.
It's mad.
I want to try the narrator. I'm falling. All right, no. Let's someone in the chat pick a voice for me. Track one. I like when it doesn't sound like the artist, then you can use it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, like these are just generic things, right? So let's listen to some of them. Pick one for me in the chat, and then we'll convert it and listen to it.
It's still Dre Day.
That's not going to work.
Oh, come on.
That's what you were doing.
Yes.
I might try this. I'm going to do a Fly Me to the Moon.
Oh, I've always wanted to sound like a crooner, so it was.
Now, you got to tell me. You have to tell me. Did it boost your ego when you chucked it through? Like you tuned it. Did you tune it and then chuck it through?
No. Do you know what? I didn't. I just put it straight through.
Okay.
And because I actually did try both ways.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, well, let's tune it first and put it through, and I didn't like that. I'm not sure in the engine whether it was doing a bit of work anyway. So I just did it line by line, kept it in tune, put it through, try to keep it really as natural as possible because it's going through the artificial processing.
Right.
That's what seemed to work best. And it's a cool result. Yeah, it was a good result. So, yeah, but I did do it line by line.
And now my bitter hands.
This is like a tragically hip kind of thing. I'm going to go for this one. Let's see.
Was it Eddie Vedder or something?
What's kind of.
Yeah.
Tell me what you do, 'cause I'm falling.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you can see pitch level is good. It has a pitch meter. And it's funny because I put that bad vocal in there and it still said good. So I think he was on pitch, but not in key. So like he was, but yeah, so you can, there's some pre-processing effects you can apply to clean up this stuff. So this is, I guess you can turn it off and on.
That's cool.
Post-processing effects. There was reverb on there. I don't know why you would want to. Let's bring it down like a bunch and see.
What's the price of this? Is this?
Yeah, let's check it out in a sec.
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it?
So I don't know if I leave the page if it just kind of stops working. That's the bright pop. It should show up here in a sec. But yeah, gritty rock male sounds like REM. Yeah. Okay. These AIs kind of auto-tune your voice before they convert it, I think. As someone said. Most of these are $30. Yeah, I mean, seems pretty standard, $30. I pay $30 for the Chat GPT after the conversion to funny money. But yeah, let's see what this one sounds like.
Tell me what you do, 'cause I'm falling. I Then you have messy like a wizard. Oh, you got some.
It's always the where's
Yeah.
I think because the voice we used,
Tell me what you do, 'cause I'm falling.
it's kind of tuned a bit. It's a bit processed. So now we're getting even more artifacts on this one.
Yeah,
But I think if you really wanted to, like, I think this would be pretty good, like on just a raw voice.
Tell me what you
that's
do,
what I
'cause
found.
I'm falling. Then you have messy like a wizard. Oh, you.
Weasel. Cool. Yeah, let's check it out what the pricing is at. Yeah, if you get a good workflow through this, and like you could do whole like different genre albums and not have to worry about this kind of stuff. Cool. Converter, $9, $10 a month, 60 minutes a month, one premium voice slot. So they have the premium voices, and I think you can swap them in and out maybe. I don't know what the time limit is for that. Text to speech, cool. Nice. Yeah, that's not bad. $10 a month.
I think the general, from what you've done there and what I found, is put it in as good but as natural as possible to avoid those artifacts. And if you tune it afterwards if you want to, but I think getting into the engine as clean and human as possible seems to help. If anyone's thinking of doing it, that's the way forward, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to play around with this and start my next project, because I've been like wondering what to start. Like, and then finally, let's get into the mastering plugin. We have about 15 minutes left here, so for those that haven't seen it, I'm just gonna bring up. I have to grab one of Kevin's songs. It might, hopefully, because I think he's released it now, so I don't know if it's gonna block me on YouTube, but whatever. Did you select content ID, Kevin? Are you still there, Kevin? Let's see if I can find an unmastered version. We'll chuck it in the DAW here. Conjure. I started typing not mastered, and then I think this might be mastered, but let's see. Song. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna grab this. My desktop's just in shambles right now. Start a new session here. Don't save. Okay. So yeah. Oh, did we lose him? Oh no. Did we lose you for a sec?
I'm here now.
Okay. That was weird.
It's all good.
Cool. Well, I'm glad I caught you. I was like, why isn't anyone talking to me? There's at least one person. Cool. I'm going to grab this and we'll get right into the mastering plugin. So have you checked out the mastering plugin at all yet, Johnny?
Yeah. Look, I really like it. I use both. I've used both quite a lot. Actually, I did an interesting video the other day, experiment comparing the two as well, and the two experiences.
Right.
And actually, the results were a little bit different from the plugin to online.
Okay.
But what I think is really interesting is the two sort of paths that you can go down. So you were talking a little bit earlier about with AI plugins, or the direction things have gone, and that's kind of the way the online lander, I think, has gone, where you can get deep dive once you get your result, and it says, hey, does this sound a bit toppy to you? Does it sound a bit muddy to you? Does this sound a bit bassy? It kind of gives you a questionnaire.
Yeah, the mastering revisions.
And that's great. And then on the other side of the fence, you've got the same processing, but then the plugin kind of goes, do you want to tweak this a bit? And it gives you the tools to do that. And I like that there's two different paths to go down. And I kind of think that it appeals to different areas, but also I think it kind of, I'm not sure if I'm schizophrenic, but also applies to two parts of me. Sometimes I'd rather just someone say, does this sound too toppy? Yeah, great. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to pull any more knobs. And other times I'm like, I want to get in there and play around. So I really like the option of both, actually.
Well, yeah, that's the thing too, is like the mastering plugin is going to give you what it thinks is the best result, and then that's what that feedback would be, and then you can kind of, you know, make those changes if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I think the best thing you could do if you're feeling that way but didn't want to change anything, you didn't feel comfortable changing anything, is just to remaster it again.
Yeah.
And you might get a different result a little bit. It might change it a little bit, but yeah, I mean, so for those that don't know, this is the plugin, it's waiting for me to feed it some audio. So I usually choose the loudest part of the track, and Help Me Devon said something cool. He was like, oh yeah, what I've been experimenting with is playing, you know, going into the loudest part. So it starts off quiet and then it gets loud, which is kind of like maybe giving it a bit more dynamic range to listen to, which I thought was kind of interesting. So there's different ways you can use this, which is really cool. So I'm going to play it from here, and then it's going into the end part. So my computer's bogging. I think I might have to close Chrome here. Oh, I have Logic open for some reason. Cool. So now we have our master. So do I have anything on the master bus? No. Okay. Cool. I'm just going to check the sample rate here because I think I might have two different sample rates going on, which is why it's doing that. Just a sec. I think that's why. Am I going crazy? No, it warped it. That's why. Ableton. Ableton just auto warp stuff. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I was thinking it was a bit more up tempo, and when you import audio into Ableton, it'll just warp it automatically, but you have to unwarp it. So maybe I'll just remaster it. So it probably was listening to the warped version, which probably wasn't an accurate representation of what I was going for. So just go like that, press play again. So you can see it's measuring the frequency balance, measuring dynamic range, stereo image, and then it's kind of guessing the genre, or assessing the genre, not guessing, assessing. Cool. So what I like to do is, like, I don't know how you use this, Jonny, but mastering a warped version. Yeah, happy accidents. Yeah, maybe the warped master was better. But what I like to do is, like, hit that gain match button and then just kind of like see what it did. It's hard to hear right now. I might have to turn it up, but then I don't want to blast the stream. So I'm just going to... So you have your three mastering styles here. So warm's like, you know, vintage, warmer sounding. Balanced is like a, you know, a go-to setting where it's the default option. A lot of people just use balanced. I usually do that, or open. What do you tend to go for, Jonny?
Yeah, I generally stick with balanced.
Yeah.
Warm, I just find adds, especially if you're working in any sort of home studio, you bring warm in, it just is like, oh, there's the muddy mids I didn't want. So
right.
Pretty balanced most of the time, and then might tweak a little bit with the EQ, you know.
Nice. Yeah, and like you can get close to open too on the balance with the settings. Like if you were like, opens too much, but you know, maybe I want to get closer, you can, you know, grab the presence knob.
Feeling restless. Familiar voices at the door. You took it back, but it's relentless.
And then,
Feeling restless.
so there's open.
Familiar voices at the door.
I'm feeling balanced though. It's got that oomph and the kick and the bass. It feels good. How close is this to the web version? That's a really good question. So I was speaking to one of the mastering engineers yesterday that helped make this, and he mentioned something about the saturation knob being defaulted on the web version to around here, which is interesting. And like, I think they also changed the compression a little bit on the plugin. So you're getting a little bit less compression. You have more control over it. And the saturation knob, I think it defaults around here.
That's really interesting. Because when I did the AB and I did them flat, there's a definite difference. And I slightly leaned towards the online version. But then I started tweaking with the plugin, pretty much doing what you just done. Then I was like, okay, now... So that's really interesting. That's kind of similar results.
Yeah, it's the exact same tech. It's just in the plugin instead of the web. So like the web version, your audio is getting sent to a server and it's being processed with that tech. And then like here, the audio is just getting sent to the plugin and being processed, right?
Yeah.
The best thing about this is that it's right there next to your session. It feels so much more closer to my heart.
Yeah.
It's just right there. It's so sick. And then I can mix into it. So if I have stuff like this is just a stereo file. So, but if I have my session, I can just, you know, I was mixing into it yesterday on one of Kevin's other tracks, and it was so helpful. And, you know, keeping the same master, but then having a slightly different mix, but keeping the same quality of the master.
Yeah.
Feeling restless. Familiar voices at the door.
And then you can back off the loudness. I think from what I've gathered and from my experience is like sometimes, because I A/B'd the web with the plugin as well, and I found that the plugin's default loudness tends to be a bit more than the web version. So I like to back off because you know, just have a bit more dynamics to the mix. But that's just my stuff that I've been working on so far. It could vary based on genre or based on what you're putting into it. So yeah, that's great. Did you have any like closing thoughts, Jonny, like on the mastering plugin or any of the tools we had?
Just like
going into
if I had that 15 years ago, it would have saved so much stress. Yeah, I've used LANDR actually for a really long time, the online service. And,
right.
Mainly because I've like a lot of people that I know, I'm a bit of a lone wolf. I like to produce and work on my own, but it was so easy to get burnt out a lot of the time. By the time I got to mastering stage, I'd done a good job on the mixing, but I just listened to that stuff too long to do a good job. And then outsourcing it and working as a freelancer was then becoming either expensive, making the job too expensive for the client. So for me, either whether it's my personal work or working someone else's work, for something like this is for me where AI is such a perfect fit, because I've done the work, and not only will it give me a good result with the mastering, but as we've discussed before, it will give me a little bit of, it's like having a mastering engineer in the corner of the room just going, you know what, that's not working. And I can go back and change that with relatively little fuss. So, I mean, I'm a big fan of all this. I think it fits very well with my workflow and how I like to work. So, you know, it's my honest personal opinion on how I like to work with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like the perspective that it gives you is so much different than like any of the other mastering plugins that I've seen out there, where maybe they have like an AI assistant, but you still have, there's enough stuff in there to ruin your mix. But the changes here are so subtle on these knobs that it's really hard to make something really bad. So it's still a very subjective thing, which is nice. And yeah, I can really give you that feedback that you might need. Like sometimes I'll put stuff in through this and I'll master it. I'll play it on a different system, and then I'm like, oh, that bass is way too loud. Like it thought that my decision of making the bass really loud was intentional, right? And no, it was just me being, maybe burnt out, or I need to keep practicing my mixing.
And it's stressful, It's if you've written a song, if you're working, you're the person that's done all of that, and you've demoed it up, and then you're mixing it. I've seen firsthand, I know firsthand how stressful it can be. People are like, oh no, they get in the car, oh, it doesn't sound how I want it to sound. This is where I think AI, this is where I think this plugin, online mastering, works really well. It's working with you to help you get a result. It's not taking away your choices. It's just aiding you not getting so stressed, which is a good thing. Trust me. I'm 45. A 9-year-old son. Less stress, the better.
You're 45?
Yeah.
Man, I would have guessed you were like my age. Like
I think I said that. I think it's the lights. I think that they're taking all the wrinkles out.
Yeah, you got an AI cam there, eh?
Yeah, I was going to say.
You got the.
I had good makeup before I came on.
That's great. Jeez. Yeah, James there. Yeah, you're 45.
45.
Right on. Yeah, and I don't know, like I don't know if anyone knew this, but we also have the desktop app where, still use the web app to host your music and grab the mobile app to reference your tracks. So like I could bounce this, and I'll just maybe I'll show you quick before we go the mobile app workflow. But bounce your track with the mastering plugin into so if you install the web app, the desktop app, if you install the desktop app, you'll have a folder that you can export to called LANDR bounces. And it should be like on Mac, it's like documents, LANDR bounces. Where is it? Yeah, here. Where's my bounce folder? Anyway, maybe I won't do it because it's going to take too long, but it's users. Now I remember now. Username LANDR bounces. Yeah, right here. So there's a folder here. I can upload it. I'll just name it whatever. Save. And then I'm just going to make sure the app is open. So once this is open, it's gonna auto upload to my account, and then from there I can use my phone. I can go to the mix on my phone, play it on different speakers, play it in the car. So like it goes right from your DAW to your phone, where you can reference it on different systems. Then you can come back here, use a mastering plugin, make some changes to your mix, bounce it again, it'll send it, and then you can reference it on different systems. I never used the mobile iPad apps. Yeah, try it out if you're using the mastering plugin. Next live stream, help Anthony clean his desktop. Yeah, that's a weekly thing, is cleaning the desktop, because I just like, if I'm working on a project quickly and I'm working with different assets, I tend to just export the desktop.
Same.
Yeah, and then I have to it's like a Sunday routine, clean your room, clean your desktop, make your bed.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, you get the point. It's going to take a while to do that, so let's close it up here. But thank you so much, Jonny, for coming on, and appreciate your time. I'm glad this worked out really well, and
it's great fun.
Make sure to check out his course. It's $50 on his site, realhomestudio.com. It'll be on a part of LANDR Studio in the educational platform learn.landr.com soon. Awesome. LANDR Studio, is on sale for $99 for Black Friday, and then the mastering plugin is also on sale, I think, for $225. So it's it's quite a bit off. If you haven't tried it yet, there's tons of videos out there. We're working on getting allowing people to try it, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, thanks for everyone for tuning in. We have 16 people here. Really grateful that you guys are watching, and be sure, let us know what you want to see next. Give us some love in the comments, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, guys. Take it easy.
Yeah, have a good one. Take care.